I ain't gonna lie to you. I got a 6-1, maybe. I got a 6-1, bruh. Good body shot from Fulton. Good right hand from brother. Hey, let me run this by you.
We prepared well. It didn't go like we wanted, like we expected, but we always knew that only one David was going to prevail. The only thing that's left is to learn from it, move on, and be better next.
Benavidez vs. Morrell was a thrilling showdown that captivated fight fans with its intensity. From the opening bell, the two fighters engaged in a slugfest, both determined to end the fight with a knockout. As the rounds went on, it became clear that Benavidez's experience and power started to take control. However, many boxing professionals have called the outcome a big robbery, claiming Morrell was unjustly denied the victory. Fans have flooded social media with their reactions, with one sarcastically tweeting, "David Benavidez gets arrested outside the arena after robbing David Morrell," encapsulating the sentiment that Morrell was the rightful winner. Javon Tank Davis also weighed in, expressing surprise at Morrell's agility despite his size. In a now-deleted tweet, Tank remarked, "My first time seeing Morrell fight, son quick to be that size." He went further, accusing the referee of cheating, suggesting the officiating favored Benavidez. Prominent sports journalist Ariel Helwani praised the fights and
mistakes where, maybe I got going a little too late. I was getting going in the last 3 rounds. Maybe I should have done that earlier, but it's something to learn from, and, something that happened in that fight that was a factor. 1 second, then Rafael here.
David, I wondered, when we were leading up to the fight, there was a lot of discussion about your relative lack of professional experience compared to David. I know you had the great amateur background. He had so many more pro fights. It seemed like that was a factor because he was able to slow it down, speed it up, and do sort of what he wanted at a lot of the times. I wonder if you felt like that the experience level was maybe a little bit much for you. I'd actually like to hear Ronnie's perspective on that also.
It was definitely one of the main factors in this fight where it didn't tilt the balance 100%, but it definitely was something.
Intensity. Tweeting, Benavidez vs. Morrell fight is sick, just as good, if not better, than expected. Love it. While Helwani's comment emphasized the excitement of the fight, it also reflected the highly competitive nature of the bout. Combat sports analyst Caposa pointed out the dramatic shift in the final rounds, stating, "Just when the fight settles into a rhythm, Morrell turned up the drama in those final rounds. Great fight, not difficult to score, but it delivered as anticipated." This comment highlighted the belief that Morrell's strong performance in the latter stages of the fight should have secured him the win. Tensions between Benavidez and Morrell were evident before the fight. At a media workout leading up to the bout, the rivalry boiled over when Benavidez shoved Morrell during a face-off. Morrell retaliated by throwing his title belt at Benavidez, prompting security to intervene to prevent further escalation. In the 4th round of the fight, Morrell stunned Benavidez with a surprising right hook that left the Mexican fighter on the ropes, showing vulnerability.
Got it, yeah. Well, the story with he and I was, I met him when he was a kid, and he told me, "I'm going to be a world champion someday," and then I run into him and he's a world champion. That's happened to me so many times, usually with MMA fighters, not boxers. That's when I was sort of kicking the tires of boxing, and yes, I would watch that fight.
However, Benavidez, known for his resilience and relentless pressure, quickly regained his composure. He started landing powerful uppercuts, breaking through Morrell's guard and pushing the Cuban fighter back despite Morrell's impressive performance. Benavidez applied relentless pressure on Morrell throughout the later rounds, showcasing his physical strength and ability to absorb punishment. By the 8th round, the toll of Benavidez's attacks began to show, as Morrell appeared fatigued. His initial flashy movement and showboating were replaced by a more reserved performance, with Benavidez controlling the pace of the fight. As the rounds progressed, Morrell's energy continued to dip, and it became clear that Benavidez was comfortably ahead on the unofficial scorecards. In the 9th and championship rounds,
and David Benavidez. For me, though, I never had a huge demand for it because I think it's a bit early for Morrell. And when you look at his last fight, Riyadh season, David Morrell didn't look that good. But a lot of people don't think David Benavidez looked that good against Holstein. I thought he looked great. I just thought he gassed out, but I thought he looked phenomenal. This fight, though, reminds me a bit of how they moved along Vargas. Remember when Vargas fought Trinidad? People wanted that fight until they saw it. He was a little too young, and he was showing a lot of promise, but I think they moved him along too quickly. Don't be surprised if David Benavidez give him a boxing lesson. David Benavidez, I think he's going to show some movement, shoot the jab, be busy. I think Morrell has a puncher's chance, and I think it's a phenomenal puncher's chance because he's so athletically gifted.
Benavidez and David Morrell, right? This is the type of fights boxing needs. Two young fighters, great fighters in their division. They moved up to 175. They were at 168. The fight wasn't made there, but 175, David said, you know what, let's make this fight happen. The first few pictures, it looks like David has some weight to take off. He looks like the Tyson Fury of the 175, but that doesn't matter, right? It's all about your fighting technique, your fighting style. I think David Morrell has a great opportunity to showcase his skills, but I don't think it'll be enough to beat a David Benavidez. I think David Benavidez has a little bit too much power and too much combinations for David Morrell. David Morrell hasn't, fought anybody that is maybe top 2, top 3. David Benavidez has been in there with Caleb Plant, has been in there with some good fighters. So he is coming into the fight the favorite. But let me know.
It was up to me, like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez. Canelo, hell of a fighter, but my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez.
What makes him so good in your opinion, Mike? Why does he beat everybody in your opinion?
His attitude. He was a little heavy, fat kid and stuff like that, and he wanted to prove himself.
By the 8th round, the toll of Benavidez's attacks began to show, as Morrell appeared fatigued. His initial flashy movement and showboating were replaced by a more reserved performance, with Benavidez controlling the pace.
Because I think Benavidez is the truth. I think his skill set is underrated. It's rare that a dude that applies that kind of pressure at that size has that level of hand speed.
In the sport, I'm the #2 most accurate puncher in the sport. I don't really get hit that much. I don't know why people think I don't have defense in
the fight. As the rounds progressed, Morrell's energy continued to dip, and it became clear that Benavidez was comfortably ahead on the unofficial scorecards. In the 9th and championship rounds, Morrell
for one shot. He's the less experienced guy, but he's got that Cuban background, with the amateur pedigree, over 100-something fights. He's got experience. Even though he's got a lot less fights professionally, he's got experience. He hasn't fought the resume professionally that Benavidez has, so that's in favor of Benavidez. The experience, always important, but also the pedigree, like I said, where he comes from, Cuba, how, you come from that island that from the beginning when you first put those gloves on, it's all about becoming a world champ. Part of it is to escape the communist country, to get to a better life, to get to where you can pursue dreams, to get over here where you can become a world champion. And that is all there. But Benavidez comes from those bloodlines too, where it's all about with him and his father, and his family. It's all about being a champion, staying a champion, being proud, representing yourself in and out of the ring as a champion. The power. Both guys are known for that.
Morrell tried to rally, seeking to steal the final moments with aggressive attacks. However, Benavidez maintained control, often inviting the Cuban to press forward. A surprising moment came near the end of the 11th round, when Morrell scored a knockdown on Benavidez.
his sparring partner. What we are talking about is that this Saturday, I'm going to put a beating on David Morrell. That's what it is.
To David, when you imagine the fight, that beating, how does it look? How have you mentally pictured the fight?
I see myself systematically breaking him down. I think I'm just going to overwhelm him with punches. My punches and bunches, it's unlike anybody else in the sport. I'm the #2 most accurate puncher in the sport. I don't really get hit that much. You know what I mean? I don't know why people think I don't have defense on that. So what I've noticed from my previous fights, when I fight great fighters, when I get in there and they don't have success like they have with other fighters, they get a certain look in their eye like, oh, shit, like this guy is really good. And I'm expecting the same thing here. But if I do get put in a position, where it's a good competitive fight, I'm ready to go to war. This is what I'm here for. You know, nothing is guaranteed. There's no easy fights here. Nothing is guaranteed. But I'm ready to put my heart and soul in the ring, and I'm ready to put it all in the ring and beat David Morrell, whatever it may take.
Morrell comes from the Cuban school. A lot of people say like, hey man, this guy is so technically good. This is a difficult style matchup. Like, what do you make of his Cuban style coming into this fight?
But honestly, they've said that.
Benavidez. However, Controversy struck when the referee deducted a point from Morrell for punching after the bell. This deduction swung the momentum back in Benavidez's favor. At the conclusion of the fight, the judges scored it in favor of Benavidez with two 115-111 scores and one 118-110, making him the winner by unanimous decision. However, the result was met with criticism from WBA lightweight champion Tank Davis, who accused the referee of influencing the fight's outcome. Davis vented his frustration on social media, claiming that
promoting the fight or what have you. A lot of pomp and circumstance usually comes associated with fights where guys look like they might dislike each other, but ultimately in the end, it's just about the professionalism and it's about marketing the fight. You guys seem to have a disdain for one another. How real is that? And if so, why?
Yeah, this is 100% real. And like I said, I want to go in there and break his face. And that's exactly what I intend on doing. David Morrell, he's been calling me out for the past 2 years. He's been talking a lot of trash. So honestly, it doesn't take much for me to get me started. Him saying he's going to knock me out, this and that. I'm in. I want a good fight. I want him to be ready. I want him to back all his words up. So at the end of the day, I gotta be the Mexican monster. I gotta let these people know exactly who I am.
the referee's actions played a role in Benavidez's victory. Benavidez, nicknamed the Mexican Monster, boasts an impressive record of 29-0 with 24 knockouts. Known for his relentless pressure, power punches, and iron will, he has been on a mission to solidify his place as the most dominant super middleweight and a potential challenger to boxing superstar Canelo Alvarez. Leading up to the fight, Benavidez had been vocal about his disdain for Morrell, accusing him
to put up one hell of a fight. I just think David Benavidez is not what people think he is. I see a highly skilled fighter with good fluidity in his punches and his moves. The guy, to me, is one of the best fighters in the world. And I'm talking about skill-wise. Like, he got fast hands. He throws great flurries. He knows how to break you down systematically. His defense is far better than people give him credit. Him against Oleksandr Volcic, I was like, brother, this guy looks great, right? He just needs more time at 175.
Him of disrespect and vowing to make their clash a brutal affair. The press conference highlighted Benavidez's fiery temperament, with aggressive remarks and a physical altercation that only added to the drama. David Morrell, with a record of 110-0 and 9 knockouts, is eager to prove he belongs at the top of the division. Despite being the less experienced fighter in terms of professional bouts, Morrell showed no signs of intimidation. At the press conference, his refusal to shake Benavidez's hand and the bold move of hurling his championship belt at Benavidez's head.
American from Arizona, from Phoenix, Arizona, debut 2013 through 2021. I think he is still fighting. His last fight most likely occurred in 2021. Oh wait, November 13th, he's got an upcoming fight versus Jose Uzcatagu, Colombian. But his last one was a TKO, took place March 13, 2021. 24, and we got another undefeated,
Benavidez are gonna fight. Yeah.
Is that a fight that you're?
Oh, got it. Yeah. Well, the story with he and I met him when he was a kid, and he told me I'm gonna be a world champion someday, and then I run into him and he's a world champion. That's happened to me so many times, usually with MMA fighters, not boxers. That's when I was sort of kicking the tires of boxing, yes.
An undefeated powerhouse with a 29-0 record and 24 knockouts enters every fight with unshakable determination, including his upcoming clash with Morrell. While Morrell has been vocal, Benavidez stays silent, letting his skills do the talking. He absorbs every word but saves his response for the ring, where his relentless pressure, speed, and precision take over.
Career, and the best out there now is David Morrell.
I see him coming up to 175. He's talking about it. So I'm gonna shut his ass up. And also, it would be a bigger pay-per-view way later. His name is not that big, but I don't.
They just talk the way you want your fighters to talk. And they're all about the smoke. They want to fight everybody. It seems like whoever would win the Morrell-Benavidez fight gets the shot. But at the end of the day, we got a guy who wants to fight a tough guy.
David Morrell is so good. David Morrell is a high-risk, low-reward fighter. You have to overpay people to step in the ring with him. If you don't overpay him, you won't get him in the ring. It's as simple as that, Jack. So, David Morrell going into 2024, one of the most exciting fighters, got an exciting style, has a fan base in Minnesota. That's the knock on the Cubans. No international distribution on the Cuban feed because they don't show the fights. Has a fan base in Minnesota. Now we need to see the fights. Vladimir Shishkin, Kristen and Billy. Any of those guys on the back end of the top 10, I want to see him in with him.
Known for breaking opponents down, he views trash talk as nothing more than added fuel, something that only intensifies the battle. For Benavidez, fights aren't won with words, they're won with skill, power, and the ability to dominate when it matters most. Bal praises Benavidez, saying his skills are top tier.
Yeah, listen, I'll give massive props to Benavidez because I've rated Morrell very highly for a long time. In Los Angeles, I got to watch him up close, and I really wasn't impressed with what I saw, but I just think he had an off night. He's a very good fighter, and Benavidez really doesn't need to be taking that fight, but he is. So listen, big respect to David Benavidez. That's a great fight, and we want to see great fights. I hope there's more fighters like David Benavidez that said, no, I'll back myself. I don't give a fuck about Morrell. I know everyone rates him and he's this Cuban killer. I'll beat him. Get me in with him. Fair play. Well done, David Benavidez.
Great fight as well. Really, really good fight. It's great to see us, isn't it? I mean, boxing's flying at the minute, but I really, really rate Benavidez. Hard to look past him, not one for me.
I know I say that every fight, but it's just I'm getting better and better. I'm more experienced. You know, now I'm physically, emotionally, spiritually. I'm at one with myself, and I'm just ready. I'm ready. These are the type of challenges I want. I don't shy away from no fight. If no fight or no fighter, you know what I mean? And that's definitely what I'm going to show February 1st.
Do you think like you break them down like later in the rounds? Like do you catch them early and break them down early like we saw with Andrade?
To be honest with you, I'm going to just put a game plan together, and I'm going to just follow my game plan. I don't know if it's going to come early. I don't know if it's going to come late. But I will be trying to knock them out. You know, that's what I do every single fight. I go in there and I just break people down and I beat the shit out of them. It's going to be the same thing.
Given the last performance, I know you said at the post-fight you were injured, you're dealing with a lot of things. What do you make of like the perception of David at 175 from fans now? And do you think it's fair?
To be honest with you, I don't care what nobody says. I know exactly what I do. I know that 7 weeks left to the fight, I tore an tendon. No, 8 weeks left to the fight, tore the tendon.
Knowing firsthand because they've shared the ring in sparring, Benavidez possesses speed, power, and intelligent pressure, always thinking, always adjusting. Bal respects his ability to break opponents down, calling him a real problem for anyone who steps in the ring with him. Interviews.
For me, though, I never had a huge demand for it because I think it's a bit early for Morrell. And when you look at his last fight, Riyadh season, David Morrell didn't look that good. But a lot of people don't think David Benavidez looked that good against Holstein. I thought he looked great. I just thought he gassed out, but I thought he looked phenomenal. This fight, though, reminds me a bit of how they moved along Vargas. Remember when Vargas fought Trinidad? People wanted that fight until they saw it. He was a little too young, and he was showing a lot of promise, but I think they moved him along too quickly. Don't be surprised if David Benavidez give him a boxing lesson. David Benavidez, I think he's going to show some movement, shoot the jab, be busy. I think Morrell has a puncher's chance, and I think it's a phenomenal puncher's chance because he's so athletically gifted.
Benavidez and David Morrell, right? This is the type of fights boxing needs. Two young fighters, great fighters in their division. They moved up to 175. They were at 168. The fight wasn't made there, but 175, David said, you know what, let's make this fight happen. The first few pictures, it looks like David has some weight to take off. He looks like the Tyson Fury of the 175, but that doesn't matter, right? It's all about your fighting technique, your fighting style. I think David Morrell has a great opportunity to showcase his skills, but I don't think it'll be enough to beat a David Benavidez. I think David Benavidez has a little bit too much power and too much combinations for David Morrell. David Morrell hasn't, fought anybody that is maybe top 2, top 3. David Benavidez has been in there with Caleb Plant, has been in there with some good fighters. So he is coming into the fight the favorite. But let me know what you guys think.
Spar, it's very different than a fight. I have a lot of sparrings when I wasn't good, when I was good. I'm not seeing on the sparrings it's like on the fight. I'm checking, I'm just trying to do something, I just have some mission for one sparring and I try to do it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But with Benavidez it was good sparrings. I can't say that something was not good. Now it's Canelo. He has belts. Of course, he's the best in 168. They need to prove it they need to earn belts. Then
Right now, he's talking a lot of shit. He's mad. You know what the fuck? You know, he should be happy. So we're super motivated. You know, David's super focused, and these are the type of fights that we need. At the end of the day, you know, he has everything to gain. We have nothing to gain out of this fight. You know, we have everything to lose, nothing to gain. You know, but at the end of the day, it's a great fight for the people. People wanted to see this fight, and we're ready. We're ready to put him to sleep.
My arms are short for my height, so I gotta check, you know what I'm saying? I bring this in, so it's here. I bring that in for maximum power, but also so I'm in a good range. Yeah. I can't be out here because I got shorter arms. If I'm here, somebody like you gonna counter this. Yeah. You can be a really good fighter. Both hands. Yeah. You can be all-time great. You make this great. Yeah. That's the hand. Because that's gonna open up these other hands. Okay. It's gonna make it easier. Anything you do here, that blinds you. You're blinded. Bing. Here, bing. I'm off to the side. You gotta turn your head. I get off or I can exit. And just rinse and repeat. Okay. That's it right there. That's it right there. He bit for it. Yeah, he bit.
Benavidez will win because he's the real deal, an unstoppable force with the skills, toughness, and mentality to break opponents down. He applies relentless pressure, cuts off the ring, and forces fighters into deep waters, where they drown under his volume. His hand speed, accuracy, and ability to mix up attacks make him dangerous. He doesn't just throw punches, he sets traps, punishes the body, and controls the pace. Built for war, he thrives when the fight gets tough. Pros believe Benavidez has to win this fight, but it's Morrell who truly needs it. Benavidez has already proven himself as a dominant force, while Morrell is looking for.
Morrell's management is going to earn more money off this fight than Morrell himself, and you want to know how he's going to feel.
About that. Look,
So David, for David Morrell, what is your response to this? Is this true?
All your managers are
bullshit. You know, it's bullshit. Now let's go to the back.
All your managers are getting more money than you.
Okay.
I thought the managers are with you. I thought the people were with you. How your fucking managers making more money than you? How are you making more money than you?
Morrell, is that true?
You gotta do it. Hey, bro, listen. Man, ham. I think that every time a lot of
after I knock you out, they're all gonna catch you out.
You know, and look, you know, he has to worry about power that Morrell has also. You know, so you know, he's gonna feel the power when he's close. He's gonna feel the power when Morrell has distance. So, you know, so we feel we have the advantage both ways.
What's the feeling in your gut, how this fight's going to play out, how it's going to go down?
I really and truly believe Morrell's gonna like me.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.